Hello, everyone, and welcome to video 4 of Statistical Correlation. And this is the video covering the Check Your Learning exercise. And so we're looking at our third research question here. Does anxiety about taking this class relate to the grade you'd be satisfied getting or the grade that you expect to get? So in the previous question, we looked at how math anxiety related to both satisfied and expected grades. Now we're just looking at anxiety about taking this class in particular. So you should have first interpret the correlation values, then drew your Venn diagram for each relationship, and then write your conclusion in English without any jargon. So if we take a look at the correlation table over here, again, we have duplicate information both on the top and bottom of the diagonal, so we can just cover up what we don't need to look at. Much easier here. And then, we're looking at stats anxiety and satisfied grade, stats anxiety and expected grade. So let's look at satisfied grade first. And so the correlation value, the R value here is negative 0.128 or negative 0.13 if we round. And the sig value for this correlation is 0.13. So we have a non-significant correlation between stats anxiety and satisfied grade. So remember, the p-value here is assessing whether this correlation value is significantly different from 0. Is this correlation value far away enough from 0 to suggest a true and real relationship here? And the answer is no. We are not confident enough. So again, we're going to treat this correlation value as essentially being 0. And now we have stats anxiety and expected grade. And so here we have a negative correlation, negative 0.256 or negative 0.26 if we round to 2 decimals. And the p-value for this correlation is 0.002. So we have a significant negative correlation between stats anxiety and expected grade. And according to Cohen's guidelines, this would be a moderate correlation, a moderate relationship here. Not weak, not strong, but moderate since it's between 0.2 and 0.39 when taking the absolute value. And so what does this mean, though? What does this negative correlation actually mean? So scores go up on 1 here. Scores tend to go down in the opposite direction on number 12 here. And so these are both, or I should say the stats anxiety is positively worded, so I am anxious about taking the statistics course. So the more anxious you are, the higher that you're going to score on this response scale. And then the grade items here, higher values reflect better grades. So as you report more anxiety, higher numbers on number 1, you expect a lower grade in the course, since lower values here reflect worse grades. So what would our Venn diagrams look like? Well, we have no significant correlation between stats anxiety and satisfied grade, so our Venn diagrams would not touch at all. We would have, 2 bubbles here, stats anxiety, satisfied grade, and the circles would not touch at all. But we have a significant negative correlation between stats anxiety and expected grade, so these Venn circles will overlap. But we first need to calculate, the percentage overlap. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to take our correlation value, square it, multiply it by 100. So need to get out my calculator. All right, so we're going to take 0.26 and then square it. And so that will give us approximately 6.8%, 6.76%, 7% overlap between stats anxiety and expected grade here. So there should be 7% overlap between the Venn circles here, right? So according to Cohen, this is still a moderate relationship. even though it looks like a small amount. But yeah. And so what's our conclusion in English? Well, we can say something like anxiety about taking this class, stats class, did not relate to students' grade that they would be satisfied getting. They're satisfied with grade. But as students reported more stats anxiety, they somewhat expected a lower grade. And again, putting in this qualifier here somewhat because there was a moderate relationship. So that's the check your learning exercise. If you want more practice, we have a fourth research question here. No longer looking at anxiety, but looking at whether political orientation related to attitudes about legalizing pot or opposing gun regulation. And so the answers will be on the next page in the PowerPoint, or I can just briefly show them there. So you can pause the video and check your work. So yeah, that's it for bivariate correlation. In the next video, we are going to move to discussing multiple regression.